football season is upon us. And if you want to have a little bit more fun, in addition to your fantasy leagues, in addition to your survival pools, so on and so forth, go to Underdog Fantasy. It is a game app where you can go and you can make certain projections about certain numbers that are going to be in each individual game. They have all different sports. They have MMA, they have NBA, NFL, hockey, so on and so forth. You can go and make certain projections about what's going to be happening in different games. You can put all of those projections together and win points, depending upon how many projections that you do want to make. If you go, sign up, download the app, super easy to use. And when you sign up, do the promo code Shark Sports. All in caps, one word. Shark Sports, all one word, all in caps. You get a 50% bonus for whatever deposit that you put down. So say, for instance, if you put down $100, you'll get 50 extra bonus dollars to work with. Again, go to Underdog Fantasy, promo code Shark Sports, all one word, all in caps. Have some additional fun on your weekends this football.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to Week 88. Count it, Week 88 of Shark Sports Radio. Alongside of me is Andrew Gifford. He goes by Giffy. It's yours truly, Mark Loisel Jr., a.k.a. Shark, right here in the Ocean State, baby. As always, you can tune in using your Apple Podcast, SoundCloud, and or Spotify app. Check us out on YouTube at the Shark Sports Radio channel. Check us out on Facebook at the Shark Sports Radio page. Check us out on X at SSR34_. And we're on TikTok at Shark Sports Radio. If he's in the hot seat, baby, we're rocking and rolling. We're doing it all. We're playing Underdog Fantasy as well. And I just won $60 last night, gift. $60 on 4 picks. I picked Brianna Stewart. Projection was at 19.5 points. I think Tristan Casas wasn't going to have a hit against the Houston Astros 2 nights ago. And that's exactly what happened. He did not have that amount of hits. He actually had 0 hits, runs, and RBIs. And Tanner Houck had 3.5 strikeouts, that was going to be played. And I actually had 5 strikeouts to conclude that game. And then Seth Lugo, who's arguably a Cy Young Award winner, he was at 5.5 strikeouts, and I had him at 7 strikeouts, 4 for 4, $60 in the money, in the bank. Go play Underdog Fantasy and use the promo code Shark Sports. Giff, what are you playing tonight?
I had a 3-way pick'em. Manny Machado, 2.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. Corbin Carroll, higher than 1.5 total bases, and Diana Taurasi over 15 points. Not looking great from the hop, if I do say so myself. But hey, listen, got some time. All we got is time. And
we got time.
Crazier things have happened. And again, everybody who goes out to play Underdog Fantasy, go to sign up. Use the promo code Shark Sports, all one word, all caps. You get a 50% bonus on whatever you put down, $10 minimum. So, for instance, if you put down $10, you get 5 bonus dollars to play with. Make projections on the games that are there. It's a fun, nice way to, play some games in addition to watching the games that you watched on television. So,
and you get a special pick. So there's a lot of bonus picks to be, had throughout Underdog Fantasy. Great partnership we have with them. So glad they're on board. Glad we're rocking. Speaking of rocking, we're in week 3. We're in week 3 of preseason. The NFL season is a-knocking. We are going to get into divisional winners, higher and lower in regards to where we think they land at the end of the year. It's going to be highly competitive this year, as you can imagine, with all the divisions, with all the teams in the mix, with all the transactions happen, with the great coaches that are added to the different divisions now. It is going to be substantial this year, I think. So let's start off at the top, Giff. We got the AFC East. I'll give you the floor, and then I'll take the reins.
All right, so we're going to go into each individual division. And basically the stats that we're going to give you when we go into it is their record from last year, what their home record was, what their away record was, what their plus minus is as far as their win total is concerned, how hard a schedule they have. And I always like to put in the points differential from last year,
Sure.
just because I think that if you say, for instance, the Pittsburgh Steelers were 10-7, but I think their point differential was, I think, less. It was plus, but it was like +7 or +8. So you can kind of tell that like all the games were super close last year. A lot of things could have bounced either way, and that could potentially be a telltale sign for a regression year. So, all right, first division, AFC East. Bills 11-6, made the playoffs. 7-2 at home. Away they were 4-4. Plus minus win total 10.5. 10th hardest schedule in the NFL, and their points differential was plus 140. And then Miami Dolphins, they were also 11-6. They made the playoffs. They were 7-2 last year at home, 4-4 away. Their plus minus total 9.5 wins. They have the 8th easiest schedule in the NFL, and their point differential last year was plus 105. New York Jets with ayahuasca Aaron Rodgers missed the playoffs last year. 4-5 at home, 3-5 away. Plus minus win total 9.5. 4th easiest schedule in the NFL, and their point differential obviously minus Aaron Rodgers and with Zach Wilson. Yuck. Their points differential last year was minus 87. And lastly, and it'll probably be lastly this year as well, the New England Patriots 4-13 last year. Obviously, they missed the playoffs. 1-8 at home, 3-5 away from Gillette. The plus minus total is 4.5 wins. Second hardest schedule in the NFL, and the point differential was 130. Shark, who is your division winner out of the AFC East?
Yeah, so this one's kind of a toss up for me because, obviously I got the Miami Dolphins, but then I got the New York Jets. And I really think the Bills take a step back, getting rid of a guy like Stephon Diggs. They lost a couple of pieces on the defensive side as well, like Jordan Poyer. And obviously Matt Milano's hurt. So he's out for the year with, I believe, a pectoral tear. And it's just heartbreaking because, last year he had I think it was an ACL injury. So it's just on and on and on with Matt Milano and that Bills defense. So I think the Bills take a bit of a drop. And then obviously the Patriots finish last. But I get the Dolphins at 12-5. Look, Miami finished 11-6, as you mentioned, right? First round bounce in the playoffs. But they're a team that is well equipped offensively and defensively, adding pieces like Fuller, right, from Washington. They also added David Long, and they have Jordan Brooks. They got a lot of solid pieces on the back end too with Holland and Poirier, like I said, and Jalen Ramsey. Where it's going to stick out for me is the defensive line. How quickly can the defensive line get acclimated, right? Anthony Weaver's new in the system. He's going to be brought upon a lot. And I think Agba, being on the outside with Jalen Phillips, hopefully, 100% healthy is going to, help. But how much is that pass rush going to play a factor? Because if you get after the quarterback in the AFC, it's prominent because you got Aaron Rodgers, you got Josh Allen, and who knows what you have in New England. So I think it's important that you get after the quarterback. It is like in football regardless, but I think it's important for Miami because they can stop the run. I mean, they were middle of the pack last year in stopping the run, but they can at least do a good enough job to keep, teams below 100 yards. And so I think Christian Wilkins' absence going to the Raiders isn't going to help their case either. But I just think offensively, they are so well equipped. Odell Beckham Jr. obviously is still on the pup list, but he'll get off pretty quickly. You got Jalen Waddle, you got Tyreek Hill. They had nagging injuries going into the regular season, just like anything else. But their offensive line is going to have to stay upright. They're going to have to keep Tua on his feet. And Tua's going to have to use his elusiveness out of the pocket more and more. I think his mobility, which I can believe what he did this offseason and losing weight and trying to be more mobile and agile. I really think he's more than capable of being, top 5 quarterback in the league, regular season wise. We'll see what he gets to in the postseason. because he reminds me of just like Dak Prescott, where he can go off and have great games where he throws a lot of yards, he gets a lot of touchdowns, but when it comes down to clutchness, does he have it? And we saw glimpses of that in his second year against the Baltimore Ravens when they were down big, heading into halftime. So I got to see a little bit more with Tagovailoa and his progression and his development. Mike McDaniel, was it the third year into the system, second year in the system, sorry. And with that offense, I think they can make themselves relevant when it comes to the high flying offense, but it's just going to come back to their defense. Can their defense, can they be reliable? Right? It's Van Ginkel's gone, Christian Wilkins is gone, Bradley Chubb is still having that ACL injury that he's going to be sidelined for a little bit more. Like I said, Jordan Phillips is now back in the picture, but I just think that they need to get good defensively. And the Jets for me are a scary pick for a Super Bowl contender, right? When you think of the Jets, they're like on the back end, like the back burner, where nobody sees them coming, right? And like they could be in the shadows of a lot of teams, especially in the AFC. And if Aaron Rodgers can get right and Breece Hall and that offense, with Garrett Wilson and Tyler Conklin, like we've been talking about, Mike Williams, all he does is catch touchdowns. Like I think the Jets can be scary, and their offensive line with Tyron Smith and Elijah Vera Tucker, those guys are tough up front. And so I got to see more of them defensively, just like with Miami. But I had the Jets at 11-6. I had the Bills because of their absence with a lot of players. And, we see what Josh Allen can do with having little help. I had them at 9-8, and I had the Patriots. I'm sorry, they're struggling this year. It is what it is, New England. You're going to have to sit back and enjoy the ride again. Gerard Mayo is just not he's done a good job this offseason, but at the same time, I heard it today, and you'll probably get into this too, Geff. I heard it today where Gerard Mayo basically said, AVP, Alex Van Pelt has decision-making, and Elliott Wolf has decision-making with, Drake May as the quarterback, and there's a lot of voices and not one voice. And anytime you have that collaborative, type of conversation, there's going to be opinions thrown into the mix that people will not like. So there might be a little bit of rough and tough there. So let's see if they can get through that. But I think that Drake May, for me, is going to start probably around week 6 because Jacoby Brissett will keep them in games. But how competitive can they be? So that's why I had the Patriots winning 6 games.
Wow, 6 games. So I have the Dolphins as well. All of your points about the Jets are valid. I think it's going to take them 6 games to gel, right? Because obviously with Rodgers not being there last year and with new pieces, Mike Williams, and especially with the offensive line that they have. Offensive line is about timing. It's about blocking together. And I don't necessarily think that they're going to have – now, look, they'll be scary down the stretch once they figure it out.
Yes.
But I do think it's going to take them about 6 games to gel with Rodgers, with the new offensive line, with Mike Williams. And look, hey, Garrett Wilson still hasn't caught regular season balls from Rodgers either. And Rodgers is a guy to where you're going to have to be on the same page with him because he's going to put balls in different spots, probably in the exact spot, but you're going to have to kind of nonverbal communication know where the ball's coming from. So I think it's going to take them a while to gel. Whereas I have the Dolphins winning the division, and I think they probably beat out the Jets by probably 2 games to win the division. I have the Dolphins going 12-5, and I have the Jets going 10-7. I agree. I think the Bills are 9-8, and look, I think the same exact record for the Pats this year. I think they go 4-13.
Wow.
I just don't. The offensive weapons are super young. Don't really have a quarterback, and then their go-to is a backup rookie who the hell knows. Their offensive line isn't great, and Ramondre Stevenson probably is their